Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Just yesterday, the market was dead, right? Another Bitcoin obituary, crypto to zero, right? But now, one day later, it's alive. It's alive. Like Frankenstein's monster, it's somehow been patched back together, at least for now. And I ain't kidding you. I mean, look on the screen here. Bitcoin in the last 24 hours up a little over 14%. Ethereum up over 25%. You got BNB up almost 14%. XRP up close to 9%. Cardano close to 11%. Solana up over 24%. Doge up over 22%. So, yeah, it's alive. Now, of course, that's for now. By the time you're listening to this, surely Bitcoin's down to 10,000 and XRP's worth about 12 cents, right? Because it's insanely volatile. So, look, I never pretend to know where prices are going to go, but I will say this. A lot of the analysts that I follow don't think that this is the bounce where we just kind of rocket out of here. In fact, as you'll see, some think that we are going to bottom out a bit lower, perhaps for Bitcoin, which of course leads crypto markets, perhaps as low as roughly the $16,000 range, which is worse than what we've seen to this point. It did get into the 17,000s the other day. Now, since I don't know what's going to happen, I never pretend to, I don't really care. My bags are fully packed. If it's, if it's time to rocket on in it, great, super duper. And if it goes lower, I will be enticed to buy more. I have plenty of capital to deploy, and I will be doing so if sufficiently enticed. But since the price just went up, I feel a little bit less enticed. And plus, I'm really just topping off my bags anyway, personally. So to me, I'm good either way. I'm just saying. But I want to share with you some perspective from some individuals. Plenty of fun stuff to talk about. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. XRP, oh yes indeed, it lives. XRP just a hair shy of 33 cents. Bitcoin's at 20,462 as of the time of recording this. Market cap for the asset class up to 914 billion. Bitcoin dominance at 42.69%. And here's the fun one: the Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 6 out of 100. 2 days in a row at 6 out of 100, actually. Updates once every 24 hours. The lowest that the Crypto Fear and Greed Index has ever been is 5 out of 100. So this really is about the worst that people participating in crypto markets have ever felt. You're going through it right now. So if you're feeling a little bit worried or scared, just makes you normal. I'm not, because I don't believe for a moment that crypto markets are going to stay in extreme fear. I don't think that stocks are going to stay down, and they move in tandem, obviously. There's no shortage of data to prove that. So given that's the case, I just couldn't care less. I really could. I literally feel different emotions than the people that get scared. I've shared with you. I'm just being transparent. When the prices went down, I felt excited, not scared, and I did buy more. Why? It got to the point where it's like, come on, twist my arm, take my money, damn it. I want to share with you this. So there's, I haven't actually, it's not intentionally, but I happen to have not covered pretty much anything from the blockchain background in a long time, not intentionally, and I was just thinking about that today. And he happened to put out an awesome short thread on Twitter, and I find him to be very insightful. He is top shelf as far as technical analysis goes. He was saying that, hey, Bitcoin's in a bear market. He was saying that last year, I think as early as, if memory serves, I think he may have been saying it in October. And then all sorts of people coming out of the woodwork. And I don't mind people disagreeing, but there were people that were being rude to him about it. That I don't care for. I like diversity of thought, but I just don't like the rude part. And he was always nothing but a gentleman. But still, he was right, was he not? I mean, fine. There are some analysts that would say this is a mid-cycle correction. I'll let them argue over the definition. Either way, market go down, which is not what everyone else was saying, right? Blockchain backer was correct. The only thing that I think really caught everybody by surprise was that we haven't seen an alt season to this point. People did think that at least that would have happened by now to blow it up, blow off top to end the cycle, because historically that's what had happened. Now, in my humble opinion, altcoins are going to take off. They won't stay suppressed forever. So it's not that history literally repeats; it kind of rhymes with itself. But anyway, I want to share with you what the blockchain backer had to say just a little bit earlier today. And I'll try and remember to make these charts full screen for those of you looking at a device as you are watching this. And so here's what he had to say. As you may imagine, I've been deep up to my eyeballs in these charts studying capitulations from the past. Of course, for this idea, one would have to assume this is a capitulation event and not the end of the world. But every capitulation feels like the end of the world. So I'll just pause to note, it does feel like the end of the world to normal people. I'm weird as hell, and I got excited by it. So I'm just saying, that's just me. But no, he's right. That is the normal response to this. But I've been through this before. I just do not give a damn. And then he wrote, here's another chart he wrote, and that Ethereum appears to have completed a full capitulation. And then there's this one. He wrote another chart, zooming in on past endings with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ending, and how, sorry, it's loading, and how Ethereum has been behaving here. And he says, the most shocking thing would be a full V-bottom recovery with no reentry, like this capitulation style has done before. And then he says, definitely feels weird to say $883 could be it, since everyone is saying just a few dollars lower is where all the liquidations happen for hedge funds, but the count lines up. And then he says, lots of macro wildness out there, and we'll see what the stock market does when it opens. But I was watching this closely yesterday with intensity to see if it would bounce, and it did, plus 21%. So take it for what it is worth everything else out there. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, doesn't the stock market seem extra old-timey because it only trades during business hours and not on weekends? It's so stupid. But that's why I was wondering, like, yesterday, I was like, I thought to myself, because I wasn't thinking about how it was Saturday, I was like, with crypto doing what it's doing, I was like, I wonder how the stock market's doing those. And then it hit me, I was like, oh, wait a minute, it's Saturday, of course it's not trading. But it does make you wonder because, like, there are plenty of people that are playing in both markets, and I just wonder how dynamics would shift if people got to play in both markets in real time, even on weekends. To some degree, there would be a change. I just don't know to what degree. But, you would think at some point that you just have tokenized stocks and things evolve and eventually trading expands to, 24/7. But it is what it is, folks. I mean, I'd like to see that happen. I don't know for sure if it's ever going to happen. Anyway, and then he said, but definitely interesting. And he shared this chart. I'll make that full screen for just a second. And I'm not keeping these charts very long, obviously. So if there's a chart that you want to just kind of focus on more, just hit pause. You're good to go. I'll be here when you get back. And then he shared this chart. This is the Bitcoin USD chart. And he said, we'll see. And then he shared this chart and wrote the following. Oh, yeah, and the ETH plus Bitcoin dominance paused here, as the structure has in the past. And so look, nobody knows for sure what's going to happen here, but there are analysts that I follow that are bold enough to say that they think what's most probable is a further break to the downside. In fact, here's analyst Il Capo, and he is one of the few that was calling for a breakdown of Bitcoin to roughly whatever it was, the $20,000 level or so, and everybody was telling him that he's crazy. So here's the thing on that, and I mentioned this the other day too. Nothing against him, for sure. I don't know for sure, though. I'm just kind of curious. Would he have been correct if macroeconomic situation was a bit different? Because there's all sorts of reasons that stock market just tanked, and crypto always moves in tandem with it. So that was really the catalyst for it. But he was calling for this without specifically stating, at least from what I had seen, without specifically stating that it would be macroeconomic factors and there'd be a dip there. Just like in March 2020 with the pandemic. Like, we didn't know exactly on whatever day it was, maybe like March 12th, if memory serves, when that was the worst to drop, for that time period. And there were circumstances that were outside of anyone's control, but that's what caused it. So it does make me curious. Now, nonetheless, he shared the following, and he does think, unfortunately, if you're the worried type, that Bitcoin's probably going to go a bit lower. So here's what he wrote. Bitcoin, $31,000 to $32,000 was broken and used as resistance. Same is happening with $20,000 to $21,000. Main target, $16,000 to $17,000, especially $16,000 to $16,250. And so here's the chart that he shared with that. So he does think, so is he going to be right again? He thinks it's going to be going down to roughly that $16,000 to $17,000 range, and that's going to scare the hell out of people. Now, again, I won't mind seeing that. I understand the world feels like it's falling apart to everybody right now, and so nothing I can do about that. I don't think that things will be terrible forever, though. I don't believe that for a moment. That it's very normal to have recessions. They typically last somewhere in the neighborhood of a year. and then you have a number of years where there's no recession, and life goes on. So the fact that there's a recession, of course there's going to be another one at some point, and there's going to be poor economic activity at the same time. So if I'm given a situation where I can buy cheaper, and since I do have money on the sidelines, of course I'll take advantage of that. But like I said, I don't control this. I'm happy either. That's what I keep saying, and I do mean this. Even if we rock it out here, fine. I'm happy then too, because whatever. Net worth go up. Super duper. And then there was this from chart analyst Kaleo, who seems to be thinking similar lines to Il Capo from what I've seen here. And so here I'll make this chart full screen. It's just Bitcoin, Bitcoin USD perpetual contract. And so then he wrote the following. Dream scenario. Accumulate in this $20,000 range through Monday morning, wick back down to $16,500 for a true bottom and start the recovery grind higher from there. So he thinks, or it's certainly possible, that you could see that type of price action that Il Capo was talking about as well. And here's something from attorney John Deaton. He said, here's what I know. We hit the top before most people recognized it. We will hit the bottom before most people recognize it. And the truth is, we don't know how Bitcoin will respond in the current macro environment because it's never had to. And so that last piece in particular is the reason that I really wanted to cover this tweet in this particular video. It's an idea I've certainly talked about before, but it's been a while. Because look, like I said many times, even in this video, crypto moves in tandem with the stock market. It's being treated very similarly, right? Well, the whole time Bitcoin's existed, fine, it was born out of the economic collapse, the housing collapse, 2008, 2009 era. Sure, but what's happened since then? I mean, sure, admittedly, of course, there have been notable pullbacks in stocks, and certainly Bitcoin's been extremely volatile, but what's the environment that it's been in? It's been in an environment where there hasn't been recession. Think about it. Like, even if you talk about 2020, yes, economic output down, admittedly, but what happened with stocks? Other than the massive drop I cited, they rocketed to all-time highs after that. Well, so now you're in an environment where, yeah, it looks like we're on the verge of the technical definition of recession, and markets not looking so like even equities is what I'm saying. Now, Bitcoin hasn't been tested in that type of environment, and where there's other horrible things going on, certainly in terms of monetary policy, certainly with the United States dollar. So it is a question mark. Bitcoin hasn't been tested like this, but to everybody that says Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation, I'm like, sorry, folks, I know you want that to be true, but data doesn't show that it's being treated like that. And maybe it will be in the future. Maybe, I don't know. It's reasonable to speculate that, I suppose, but it's not right now. So we're in some ways, we're certainly in uncharted territory, but that still doesn't scare me. You know, markets don't go down forever. People value attributes that are possible thanks to the advent of blockchain technology. People genuinely value those, right? And so even though there are a lot of coins that basically are copies of one another, people like that. They don't want all of them to go away, even though it's not clear which coins will be winners, and different coins are used for different use cases. I understand that too. But some of them are doing about the same thing, and they don't seem to serve any particular purpose. So even so, fine. Even if a ton of them go to zero, most of them I think will, people still value this. And as a result, the asset class never goes to zero. It's not going to. You could see a way further drop from here. It's plausible. I'm not predicting that, but it's plausible. And if it does, it's just not going to freaking matter in the long term. You know, just like during the dot-com boom and bust, people panicking incessantly. Oh my God, it's the end. The internet was just a fad. You know, it's just, no. No, there was a cleansing of the markets, that's for sure. But then you had the truly valuable businesses. A lot of them were either born out of that, or the ones that, like Amazon, which was there towards the rise of that bubble, since the business model was actually good and doing well after the drop. Yes, fine, Amazon took a hit in terms of stock market price, but the business metrics kept getting better, and then it rocketed out of there too. So fine, if we see something like that, and even if that means that Bitcoin and XRP, pick whatever coin you think has utility, even if they go down, that still won't scare me. And, you know, I'll be worried if that happens unexpectedly, like say we do see finally this maturation, and say this is the moment right now, and most of the coins actually do get cleansed out of the system and go to zero, right? Well, that would mean that I think most of the cryptocurrencies that I personally hold probably would go to zero, and I could live with that. It wouldn't be the end of the world. But see, that's why I have XRP as my largest position, because I don't know when that maturation is going to occur. And even if there's that cleansing and XRP drops insanely, which could happen, I'm not predicting it, but it could, I'm fine. I'm going to be sleeping easy because I believe it will be worth way more. It'll be one of the few that actually lives as long as it's solving real problems for real people. And that's just the way that I look at it. So, I don't know, just food for thought. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.